Republican Congress. Puerto Rico's governor testified before a congressional committee on the future of the island's power grid following a series of natural disasters. But Congresswoman Jennifer Gonzalez Colon says until Puerto Rico is granted full statehood, the will of the Puerto Rican people is diminished.
The U.S. Congress can do whatever they want with territories. They can do whatever they want with the issue of Puerto Rico. And yet, we're still facing a lot of the needs like states of Louisiana, New Jersey, Florida, Texas, that were hit by hurricanes as well.
The island has been receiving power from electric generators on government-run barges off the island. I'm Catherine Carley for Pacifica Network and Public News Service. Find our 8 trust indicators to support transparency.
Taking prescription medication should not be a scary task. The staff at St. Paul Corner Drug makes certain you know everything about your prescription medication before you leave the pharmacy. Knowing what to expect and when and how to take your prescriptions gives you the confidence to safely take your medication and maintain good health. Should additional questions arise, we are here to help sort things out. St. Paul Corner Drug, pharmacy the way it should be, at stpaulcornerdrug.com.
Hello, this is Ellie Krug with Ellie 2.0 Radio. Now my show will be on Saturdays from 10 to 11 and replayed on Sundays from 1 to 2. You will get to the best of Ellie 2.0 with talking about idealism with guests who come in and who are idealistic, who are trying to change the world. And you will get me, Super Idealist. Tune in. We can't wait to hear from you. And you'll hear from me Saturdays from 10 to 11.
SeniorCommunities.guide is your free online website to find housing, care, and resources for seniors in Minnesota. Use the powerful, award-winning search tool to quickly improve your search. You will have all the information you need to contact providers directly without any hassle. Start your search now at SeniorCommunities.guide and follow us on Facebook for interesting articles, helpful advice, and how older adults are changing the world.
SeniorCommunities.guide. No matter if you're eating out or cooking something at home, EatLocalMinnesota.com has you covered with a list of locally owned restaurants and food purveyors. Locally owned Vinaigrette has been offering the finest olive oil and vinegar since 2009. Reintroduce yourself to all the many flavors by tasting before you buy. From darker white balsamic to cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil from all over the world, there is something for everyone. Vinaigrette, located at 50th and Xerxes in Minneapolis, or at vinaigrettemn.com. The Park Tavern is your go-to destination for fun. Enjoy the fantastic food like their pizzas, burgers, and sandwiches, the best bowling in Minnesota, their wildly popular outdoor patio, great drink specials, all the big games on their numerous screens, and it's the perfect place for your next private event, even large gatherings for over 200. The Park Tavern is your go-to destination for everyone. Have fun at the Park Tavern, Louisiana Avenue, north of Highway 7 in St. Louis Park.
With your AM 950 weather, this is Dan Riva. Today, blustery, high 13. Tonight, snow, low 8 degrees. Tomorrow, becoming sunny, high 31. The Great Wall Restaurant serves Szechuan and Peking favorites. Located at Edina, their menu includes Peking duck and Mushu pork with homemade Chinese pancakes. Takeout is 952-927-4439 or GreatWallEdina.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Living Healthy and Aging Well. My name is Ken Haglund, and we are broadcasting from the AM 950 radio station that overlooks beautiful Bryant Lake Regional Park, located in Eden Prairie, Minnesota. I am so grateful to be here with you today, and I hope all of you listening are doing well. We are on the air every Saturday from noon to 1 to talk about your health and your life. We cover a wide range of topics to help you and your loved ones improve and enjoy your quality of life. I want to thank all of you that leave us messages on our radio show phone line. We really appreciate hearing from you, and we welcome your comments, questions, and topics for future shows. Also, If you are interested in being a guest on our radio show, please call or text us at 612-999-3426. You can also contact us on our website at livinghealthyradio.com. There you can find information about upcoming guests as well as listen to our previous shows. And we look forward to hearing from you. Many of you do offer other people. You say, I know so and so, or I talked to so and so, and they'd be a great guest on your show. So if you do have those, please send them to us, and we are happy to reach out and talk to them. We love having especially local people on the show. That's so much fun here. We are adding new listeners to the show each week, not only here in the Twin Cities of Minnesota, but also throughout the country. You can find podcasts for all of our radio shows on the AM 950 radio website. And we can also be found on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and many other podcast and streaming services. You can also watch our broadcast live on the radio station's Facebook page at AM 950 Radio. We have another great show for you today. Joining me in a few minutes will be Amy Horn, licensed acupuncturist and owner of Blue Branches Acupuncture in Bloomington, Minnesota. And we'll be talking about the power of acupuncture and how it works with Western medicine to create the highest outcomes for her patients. Now, combining ancient wisdom and modern technology, Amy works with her patients to meet them wherever they are at on their healing and wellness journey. Whether you are looking to maintain an active lifestyle or address chronic illness, Amy Horn with Blue Branches Acupuncture can create a custom treatment plan to help you be your best self. I am looking forward to talking with Amy here in a few minutes. Now, she's been on the show before, and we did get calls and text messages coming in. So if you are interested in asking Amy about her practice, please give us a call. So if you have a question, there's two ways to reach us. First, you can call the AM 950 radio station, and our friendly show engineer, Dan, will get your call on the air. That number is 952-946-6205. Once again, 952-946-6205. Or you can directly text us your questions at 612-999-3426. Once again, 612-999-3426. Once again, we will repeat these throughout the show. So if you missed them, don't worry. We'll do that several times during the show here. Also, please do not wait until the show's ended to call or text us your questions. We often receive many of the same questions after the show has ended. If you have a question, many others do as well. So please contact us today during our show, and we look forward to answering your questions and hearing from you. All right. I want to welcome my guest for today's show, someone who I just have so much fun talking with. She's got such a wealth of information. Amy Horn, licensed acupuncturist and owner of Blue Branches Acupuncture in Bloomington, Minnesota, is here today. Welcome to the show, Amy.
Thank you, Ken. It's so great to be back.
Yes, I've been looking forward to this. I think I had you here maybe a couple of years ago or so. And ever since then, I know several of my colleagues have visited you. And I've got, yes, my HR director and other people that just find your services to be so beneficial. And so that's been great to have happen since we last talked.
Absolutely.
So before we jump into it, I have so many questions, and I know the audience has a lot of questions too about acupuncture. But tell us about yourself, just a little background of you, and then what inspired you to take this path and journey in your life to become an acupuncturist?
Well, so as Ken said, my clinic is here in Bloomington, and I've had the clinic since 2014. So I've been doing this for a few years, and really I was inspired to do this work because it helped me. I went through a period of time in the early 2000s where I kind of lost my identity, or my identity was really wrapped up in the work I was doing at the time. And when I decided that wasn't a good fit anymore, I didn't know where to turn, and I kind of had an existential crisis and sought out acupuncture first for pain. I had pain in my shoulder and pain in my hip that I didn't feel like had a diagnosis that was attached to it. And as I went through the process of finding an acupuncturist and then later um, finding relief from that pain, what I came to see the real purpose of acupuncture for me was to kind of dwell in the question, who am I? And as time went on, it just played out where I got to clarify what I believed about health and wellness and medicine and herbs and piece by piece, it just all kind of came together. So I've been very grateful to both for my own healing and the ability to help others find that journey for themselves.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Boy, finding your purpose is really a joy.
It is.
You know, it's rare, unfortunately. Many of the people I talk to throughout my week are in that searching mode, and it's different than curiosity. I think
Yeah.
there's two different things. When you're searching for your path and your journey, it can be very stressful. It can be very discomforting. It can, it's really tough. I think that can lead to a lot of things. I mean,
Yeah.
anxiety, depression, all that kind of thing. So it's so interesting that when you are finding your way, and I just love this show because I talk to people who so many times in the middle of their life, they just take a U-turn or a right turn or a left turn, and they find themselves, and it's just so interesting. So I appreciate you sharing that. So you've been, well, first of all, you have to go to school.
Yes,
So it's not something that I could just do on my own.
that's right. It was a 4-year program,
Right.
full time,
Wow.
lots and lots of school. So, and the schools, at least here in Minnesota, I think most of the acupuncture schools across the country really have 3-4 focuses. So one is acupuncture, the points, what they are, where they are, what they do. The second is the Chinese medicine theory. The third is, of course, biomedicine. And then the fourth is herbs and how to use those.
Okay.
And in the state of Minnesota, acupuncturists are licensed under the same board as the MDs, which I think is hilarious. Because, we're not, quote, a real medicine.
Right. An alternative,
Yeah.
complementary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Although again, it's so interesting. I've had acupuncture done, been very helpful for me. Again, my colleagues
Yeah.
are coming back and they're saying, I get to see Amy today. So they're running out during the middle of the day and coming back just recharged. And I can see just what a difference it makes in my colleagues.
Yeah.
And so we're going to talk much more about this because I find that a lot of people are searching for a solution. They're searching they're just not happy with the path that they're on with their health. I mean,
Yeah.
they kind of struggle. They don't know where to turn. And, some are looking for maybe an alternative to some of the drugs. Drugs are fine if you have a real, clear direction on why you're taking the drugs.
Yep.
But there's side effects. And I always ask people questions that, well, so how long will you be on that drug? And I always get just, really a strange look. Like, well, what do you mean how long? I said, well, that should help you find
Right.
another, maybe a solution, lifestyle or other things that could maybe help you. And it's so interesting because they're never told that. I think when people are maybe get prescribed something, and many times they're prescribed something because of a chronic condition, and that's very frustrating. Chronic conditions
Yes.
are very frustrating. And so it's nice that there are other things people could try.
Yep.
To maybe see if that could help support that. So anyway, I have so many questions. We're down to the last minute and a half here. But I just want to remind people that you are right here in the Twin Cities.
Yep.
You're kind of by the Mall of America.
Yeah, about a mile west, 12th and American Boulevard.
Yeah. Just a beautiful office and a treatment room where you take where people go and get their treatments. You do a service where you will scan a person's body.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about that in an upcoming segment here. So it really helps guide the acupuncture process. And we'll talk about all the questions I got. Does it hurt? And all this kind of thing. So we'll get into all that here. But there's just so many things that I'd like to touch on because people that I talk to are just so confused. There's almost too many choices in one sense out in the marketplace too.
There are. Yep.
So we're going to get more into this acupuncture world with Amy Horn, and it's time for a short break, folks. We'll be right back to continue our conversation with Amy Horn, licensed acupuncturist and owner of Blue Branches Acupuncture in Bloomington, Minnesota. And we are talking about the power of acupuncture and how it works with Western medicine to create the highest outcomes for her patients. If you have a question for Amy, please give us a call, 952-946-6205, or text us at 612-999-3426. I'm Ken Hageland, and you are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well.
Now, more than ever, we are being faced daily with the topic of human mortality, and for many people, estate planning has been top of mind. Getting your estate planning done now can be easy and cost-effective. Schromen Law offers virtual options for initial consultations so that new clients can safely initiate the process. With many facing uncertain financial situations, Schromen Law also offers affordable fees for legal documents. Learn more at schromenlaw.com. That's SCHROMEN law.com.
How have you been sleeping? I'm Dr. Inel Rosario from Andros ENT and Sleep Center, an independently owned clinic helping Minnesotans live and sleep better. We are experts at treating ear, nose, and throat issues and are equipped with an audiology and sleep center. Take the first steps to a better night's sleep and better health. Online at androsent-sleep.com. That's androsent-sleep.com. Or call 651-888-7800.
Hey, John, I heard you're turning 65 this year. Time to start comparing your Medicare insurance options.
Oh, I am so overwhelmed with all the different Medicare companies and plan designs. I don't even know where to begin.
Really? I worked with compareyourmedicare.com and they made my Medicare decisions seem easy.
Huh, really? Well, what do they do?
Compareyourmedicare.com represents several of the top Medicare insurance companies in Minnesota. A local licensed agent will help you compare Medicare plans to determine which products best meet your needs and budget.
Wow, that sounds a lot easier than going to a bunch of different Medicare seminars on my own.
Way easier. Just go to compareyourmedicare.com and request a free, no-obligation review. You can even schedule a virtual consultation from the comfort of your own home.
Hi, this is Jared with compareyourmedicare.com. We pride ourselves in serving our community's Medicare needs. Whether you're planning to retire early or work past age 65, we can guide you through how and when to apply for Medicare. Go to compareyourmedicare.com to schedule a consultation.
Hi, this is Chad from AM 950. Snap Construction is arguably the most well-reviewed roofing, siding, window, and insulation contractor in the metro. Ryan is so excited about working with AM 950 and our listeners that he wants to help us grow.
This is Ryan, owner of Snap Construction. I was friends with Chad long before I started marketing with him. I was a bit skeptical of radio advertising before Chad convinced us to run ads. The advertising's been so successful, we want to help the station grow. We've absolutely loved working with the listeners of AM 950, and we all know how extremely important this radio station is to the community. To help AM 950 grow, Snap Construction will be putting up proceeds to assist the station in marketing on social media. Snap Construction encourages you to follow, engage, share, and interact on the AM 950 social media platforms. Together, we can all work to ensure AM 950 continues to thrive and grow in our communities. We stand by our work with a lifetime craftsmanship guarantee. For a free estimate or more information on our financing, call 612-333-SNAP or check us out online.
Welcome back. You are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well, where we talk about improving your health and quality of life. My name is Ken Hageland, and joining me today is Amy Horn, licensed acupuncturist and owner of Blue Branches Acupuncture in Bloomington, Minnesota. And we are talking today about the power of acupuncture and how it works with Western medicine to create the highest outcomes for her patients. And we did say that she combines ancient wisdom and modern technology to work with her patients to meet them wherever they are at on their healing and wellness journey. Whether you are looking to maintain an active lifestyle or address chronic illness, Amy Horn can create a custom treatment plan to help you be your best self. If you have a question for Amy, please give us a call, 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205, or text us at 612-999-3426. Well, Amy, how can our listeners get more information or get some questions answered if they had that after the show?
Well, they can reach out to me through my website, bluebranches.com, and there's a way to send an email through that. There's also a phone number you can call, although email is usually the best way to get a hold of me.
Yeah, that's great. And it's a very nice website, folks. Bluebranches.com, and a lot of information on there. Nice picture of Amy, and it does address a lot of the questions that we're going to talk about today. Which is, what is acupuncture? A lot of people just have never heard about it, and if they have complete misconceptions as to what it is. But anyway, we'll start talking about that here. So let's start with, what is acupuncture?
Well, that's a great question. It's an ancient Chinese secret. No, for those who remember that commercial.
Yes, that's true. But it's interesting if you look at that, and only because I know this, that the Chinese abandoned it for a little while.
They did, yeah.
And then they realized, wow, we had some major problems in our population, and they brought it back.
Yeah.
But I don't want you tell us about acupuncture.
It's a great story, and it's part of, it worked, so they brought it back. And that's how it is with any medical system, right? Either it works or it doesn't. And ultimately, always, all medicine, even our pharmacologically based medicine, is a practice. We're all trying to figure it out. The body is divine in its mystery. And while it has revealed some mysteries, it has revealed very, very few of them. And every time we think we know something, then suddenly we learn more. Oh, that wasn't the smallest atom or whatever, right?
A subatomic particle,
right. So it's all a practice. And acupuncture, Chinese medicine, like all medical systems, looks at different parts of the body. It looks at how, so the Chinese, the story goes, kind of observed nature, and then as they saw the human body as part of nature, kind of extrapolated, well, cold freezes water. So cold does the same thing in the body. It freezes things. So if you drink ice water in the middle of winter, it shuts your digestive system down, right? Because it's just too cold. There's nothing there. There's no fire.
Right.
Or my favorite is wind. So there's an internal wind in Chinese medicine that manifests as tremors, because it looked like the leaves on the branches,
shaking,
right?
Yeah.
As the wind blew through the trees. So a lot of it is very metaphor. Ken and I were talking before the show. Metaphor is the word of the day, and the metaphor of the body in the world, as an extension of it, is really how they kind of put together the medicine. So when the acupuncturist, talks about liver qi stagnation, they're not saying that there's a problem with your liver. They're saying that in this system, there's a special way that the energy of the liver is supposed to move. And if it's not, it's going to manifest as disease in these particular kind of ways. And if it's moving, like one of my favorite examples is the stomach. The stomach chi is supposed to descend. It's supposed to go down. And when it doesn't, we have things like hiccups, burping, acid reflux, vomiting, right? Rebellious stomach chi is what they call that, which I love. So that's kind of the foundation of Chinese medicine. How does acupuncture work? Well, it's all about electricity. So qi is a very complex, very detailed kind of concept. And when we started talking about acupuncture in the 70s in the US, it was translated as energy, which was a great definition in 1970. It is a terrible definition in 2022. So I like to use electricity. It's how I diagnose in my clinic. You had mentioned that I use a program. We use it with every treatment, every time. It allows us to track progress over time. And what it does is measure electricity. So we have 6 points on each foot, 6 points on each arm that correspond to the 12 meridians as laid out in the Chinese medicine world. And by measuring these points that we know to be the most electrically conductive on that channel, then it gives us an idea of where those imbalances are. And it allows me to fix them a lot faster. But it also allows you as the patient to follow along. And we can track progress over time. The kind of classic diagnosis in Chinese medicine is tongues and pulses. So there are maps about the tongue, and different parts of the tongue represent different organs, and then you're looking at the color and the coating and the color of the coating. All of that is great information. Same with pulses. It's a really complex matrix. But what would happen is I would take people's pulses and they would say, well, what's my pulse? And I said, I don't know. I'm not trying to count beats per minute. That's not what we're doing here. And I couldn't find a way to explain it that was simple and effective enough for the patient to kind of onboard into what was happening. So it was not as easy for them to participate in their own care, which I think is really critical in what we're doing here.
Yeah. Well, and we've talked about this before. People need to advocate for themselves.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's really hard to articulate really what you're feeling, what's going on to somebody, and then have a diagnosis and then a prognosis and a prescription. I mean, there is some things there where some requires a lot of active participation where like you said here, patients can participate, but they're also allowing the modality to actually work without them having to be, so overly engaged in things. So, well, we're just scratching the surface. I want to get back on this break, and we'll talk more about this. So we'll be right back, folks, after on our conversation here with Amy Horn, licensed acupuncturist and owner of Blue Branches Acupuncture in Bloomington, Minnesota. If you have a question for us, give us a call, 952-946-6205. I'm Ken Hageland, and you are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well.
The Senior Linkage Line is a free statewide service of the Minnesota Board on Aging, helping older Minnesotans and caregivers find answers and connect to services and supports. Questions about Medicare, transportation, looking to move to senior housing, overwhelmed with prescription drug plans? Call the Senior Linkage Line at 800-333-2433 or visit trellisconnects.org, where we help people optimize well-being as they age. That's trellisconnects.org.
You can't go through a day without hearing about healthcare reform. St. Paul Corner Drug is here to help you navigate the ever-changing healthcare landscape. We are your advocate in getting much-needed prescription medication covered under your insurance plan. Need to choose a different plan? There is no reason to feel like you are drowning in the system. St. Paul Corner Drug can make simple work out of finding you a plan that best suits your needs. You can rest assured at St. Paul Corner Drug, pharmacy the way it should be.
Nightingale is your cozy, comfortable neighborhood restaurant in the Whittier neighborhood at 26th and Lindale. Nightingale has patio, dining room, and bar seating available. Plus, they still have takeout and delivery. Their menu has lots of delicious options like the famous Nightingale burger and fries, ginger tamari chicken wings, smoked chicken liver pate, and more. They're open from 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. daily with their full menu until midnight. So make the friendly neighborhood Nightingale your go-to restaurant in South Minneapolis. Place an order, make a reservation, and more at nightingalempls.com.
During Black Friday, people get as excited about appliances as Warner's Tellian is every single day. We're so excited about Black Friday that we had to start it early so we could celebrate all month long. Like free dishwasher installation on brands like KitchenAid and LG laundry pairs for up to $1,400 off. And that's before Warner Stellian's exclusive 5% savings. Plus, buy more and save with our Black Friday bonus. Add a second appliance for a $100 bonus and a third for $200 for up to $800 back. Black Friday starts now only at Warner Stellian.
Is getting to sleep adding to your life's anxiety? Do you struggle with falling asleep or staying asleep? We can help. I'm Dr. Inel Rosario of Andros ENT and Sleep Center, and my team of sleep specialists can help you discover the joys of continuous sleep. Call 651-888-7800 to schedule your insomnia consultation today. You can also find us at androsent-sleep.com. That's androsent-sleep.com.
End-of-life decisions are not easy to make. Hi, I'm Mary T. of Mary T. Hospice Care. It's important to make sure that this difficult time is meaningful and comforting to you and your loved ones. Our hospice team provides an individualized program of physical, emotional, spiritual, and practical care so your loved one is comfortable and not in pain. At Mary T. Hospice, we understand that choosing the right hospice care provider can be overwhelming, but we're here to assist you. Learn more today at marytinc.com.
With your AM 950 weather, this is Dan Riva. Today, blustery, high 13. Tonight, snow, low 8 degrees. Tomorrow, becoming sunny, high 31. The Great Wall Restaurant serves Szechuan and Peking favorites. Located at Edina, their menu includes Peking duck and Mushu pork with homemade Chinese pancakes. Takeout is 952-927-4439 or GreatWallEdina.com.
AM 950 KTNF St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Welcome back, folks. You are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well, where we talk about improving your health and quality of life. My name is Ken Haglund, and joining me today is Amy Horn, licensed acupuncturist and owner of Blue Branches Acupuncture in Bloomington, Minnesota. And we are talking about the power of acupuncture and how it works with Western medicine to create the highest outcomes for her patients. If you have a question for Amy, we're starting to get calls coming in here now. Please give us a call, 952-946-6205, or you can text us at 612-999-3426. Before we return to our conversation with Amy, I want to mention this radio show is brought to you in part each week by Minnesota Hospice. Minnesota Hospice is an independent, locally owned medical practice serving our Twin Cities communities with innovative and comprehensive end-of-life health care. The teams at Minnesota Hospice have been providing patients and family members with award-winning end-of-life healthcare services. Hospice brings compassionate medical, social, emotional, and spiritual services to your home with no cost to you or your family. Please do not wait to learn how hospice care can benefit you and your loved ones. If you have a question regarding end-of-life care or support, please contact the caring team of experts at Minnesota Hospice. They are available to answer your questions 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their phone number is 952-898-1022. Once again, 952-898-1022, or visit them online at minnesotahospice.com. All right, let's continue our conversation with Amy Horn. So Amy, if our listeners have questions or want more information, what's the best place to do that?
Bluebranches.com, Ken.
All right.
Yes.
You can email you, or there's a phone call there, but you prefer the emails.
I do prefer the email.
Yes, yes.
And there is also a complimentary consultation where they can come in and we can discuss whatever they've got going on and answer whatever questions they have, even if they don't necessarily have anything they want to get treated, but they just want to learn more, just to have it in their back pocket to help them or a family member.
Yeah, no, that is huge. And I did that.
You
And
did?
it was, again, I've had acupuncture in the past, and it was great to see how you approach that. And again, that scan was so interesting to do as well. So, I mean, again, take advantage of this, folks. I mean, if you think you're doing really well, then let's stay on that path.
Absolutely.
It's amazing how, like frog in a beaker, we can kind of get boiled a little bit and we don't even realize it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of nice to have some objective feedback on really how you're doing.
Yeah. Well, and so before the show, again, Ken and I were talking about kind of what is acupuncture and how does it work. And one of my favorite ways of thinking about it right now is our cells as batteries. And everything we do in our life, whether that's the way we move, the way we sleep, the way we eat, the way we rest, play, what stressors we have in our life, how we drive in traffic, they all either kind of add to the charge of our battery or they take away from the charge of our battery. And unfortunately, for most of us, we do more things that deplete the charge than actually increase the charge. But if the body is electric, and both Western medicine and Eastern medicine say that it is, so let's assume that it is, then what health is all of those cells being fully charged. And we all know what that feels like when we're running, we're firing on every cylinder. We're just on fire, right? And then we also know what it's like every day as we maybe need a little caffeine to get through the day. And it happens slowly, like that frog, right? Where you're like, oh, it's fine. It's not too bad. I can make it through. And pretty soon we're not holding the charge. We're not recharging. And pretty soon we're seeing chronic disease, which is really that our cells are just depleted. So one of the things that acupuncture does a really great job at, and it kind of fits this metaphor perfectly, is in those acupuncture points, those electrically conductive acupuncture points, we put an antenna. And we essentially pull in electricity from the surface of the body, pull in electricity from the air, and redirect it, charge up those cells so that the body now has the tools to heal itself. Like acupuncture doesn't heal, but it gives the body the tools it needs to be able to heal itself. And the other piece that it does that I really love is it relaxes us enough that our brain stops being a player, right? So we can circumvent the brain and all of its thoughts and all of its worries and all of its attachment to whatever diagnosis we have, and all the ways that interferes with the body's ability to heal itself. So now we've given the body its tool, we've put the mind to rest for a little bit, and really some amazing things can flourish as a result. So,
well, and so the battery analogy makes so much sense, because I know people will tell me I just feel run down.
Yeah.
So it's just a rundown battery. I mean, you can't drive these new electric cars when the batteries are run down. You need to be fully charged.
Yeah.
And you also had a great metaphor about a house.
Yeah.
That if you could maybe talk about how the analogy of the house and the power that goes on in a house, how that relates to the body as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of my favorite ones. My husband is an electrician, and if he were listening, he would find flaws in this analogy. But like all analogies, it's, follow me, just use your imagination. So we've got the box, right? We've got the
electrical
box that's got the circuit breakers in it, right? And the circuit breakers represent the organs in this case, right? So the lungs, the heart, the liver, the gallbladder, they're all in there. And from each of those, then there are conduits that go out into the house, and they end up at your switches and your
outlets.
The outlets.
Yeah.
And as a layperson, all I need to know is how to access the information, the electrical information in the house, how to turn on the switch, how to plug into the outlet. And if I do those things and something doesn't work, now I know that there's a problem, either somewhere along that whole process. And I don't need to fix it. I call the electrician who can come in and say, oh, it's a problem with the box, or it's a problem at the outlet, or a rat ate through the conduit, like whatever, right? Fortunately, no rats in my house, but shoo. And it's the same with the body. So the fascia in the body, we know to be highly electrically conductive. And that kind of represents the conduit that goes from the organs out into the rest of the body, all those kind of remote places in the body. And the points, the acupuncture points, are the access points, just like the light switch are. And which is why like qigong can be great, or ways that you can massage points yourself, right? If you know this point does a certain thing and you're having problems there, you just rub that point and you can access the information the same way. So if you've got a problem somewhere in that system, you don't have to know how to fix it. You don't have to know how it works. You just call the acupuncturist who already understands that.
Got it. So when people think of their body, and they have organs, and they know what organs are, I think fascia may be a little bit of an interesting topic. You could just explain what fascia is, because it's not your skin.
It's not your skin, but it's right underneath it, and it holds everything in place.
Yeah.
And surgeons use it. They know that if you cut, I don't know if it's with the fascia or against the fascia, but if you cut that way, you can make really small incisions and people heal a lot faster. That's the biggest place where you find it used in Western medicine. Also, a lot of, I think like PT will use it, when you talk about like fascial, like it gets sticky.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, and just so people in their minds can think about, you use very fine needles.
Yes.
In your practice, they're all safe and sterilized and everything else.
Yep.
But so that point of the needle is just going beneath the surface of the skin to touch that fascia, which is where that electrical conduit goes.
Exactly. Yep. I had a guy at the house yesterday from CenturyLink. Actually, they're going to put in new internet.
Yeah.
And he was filling out the form, and we were talking about that I was an acupuncturist, and he was like, I don't know, does it hurt? Whatever. I'm like, do you want to try? And he was like, really? So I put a needle in his hand, and he was like, I didn't even feel that.
Right.
And then I took it out, and he kept looking, and he goes, how is it that I'm not bleeding? It was adorable. So points do bleed on occasion. Sometimes just because there's a lot of electricity there, a lot of energy, and it just needs to come out. But usually it's very little. We're not seeing a lot of blood, just a little.
So would you consider this a non-invasive though?
I would.
Yeah.
But anytime you break the skin, there is always some extra precautions that need to be taken.
Right.
So don't go out and buy your own needles. Ken.
Right. Okay. Right. We'll let the professionals deal with that. Yeah. And again, just remind people, it's a 4-year degree to get to the point where you can take your boards and become licensed in Minnesota.
Yep.
So this is not something that you take lightly. It's a big commitment on anybody who's a licensed acupuncturist. So I want to talk to people in the last couple of minutes here, or last minute, is what can some of these treatments help with in terms of health issues or maybe some chronic illnesses?
Well, my favorite thing is when people do have a diagnosis and they're working with their doctors, maybe they're working with their chiropractor, and then they're working with me. We all work together really well as a team. I am never going to advocate that you don't go see your doctor.
Right.
I always go at least get more information. We all get to make our own decisions once we have that information. But but when people are really advocating for themselves, that means that they're using the best of all the possible worlds. And my job is to figure out what you need, what gaps I can fill, and then work with you to fill that. So for some people, we use herbs. We had a question here whether I used mugwort in my practice, which is known as moxa, and I don't, and not for why you think. There's not great ventilation in my space, and this is an herb you burn. So the other tenants in my office building have requested, I've tried, but they've requested no. So
okay. So the popular vote said no for that one. Not that you're opposed to it at all.
I use it at home all the time. I love it.
Interesting. All right. Well, the music is cueing us out here, Amy. So it's time for a short break. We'll be right back to continue our conversation with Amy Horn, licensed acupuncturist and owner of Blue Branches Acupuncture in Bloomington, Minnesota, and just a fascinating person. And we're talking about the power of acupuncture and how it works well with Western medicine to create the highest outcomes for our patients. If you have a question for Amy, please, this is the last segment of the show already. Give us a call, 952-946-6205, or you can directly text us your question at 612-999-3426. I'm Ken Hageland, and you are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well.
SeniorCommunities.guide is your free online website to find housing, care, and resources for seniors in Minnesota. Use the powerful, award-winning search tool to quickly improve your search. You will have all the information you need to contact providers directly without any hassle. Start your search now at SeniorCommunities.guide and follow us on Facebook for interesting articles, helpful advice, and how older adults are changing the world.
SeniorCommunities.guide.
Now, more than ever, we are being faced daily with the topic of human mortality. And for many people, estate planning has been top of mind. Getting your estate planning done now can be easy and cost-effective. Schroman Law offers virtual options for initial consultations so that new clients can safely initiate the process. With many facing uncertain financial situations, Schroman Law also offers affordable fees for legal documents. Learn more at schromanlaw.com. That's SCHROMEN law.com.
Minnesotans age 65 plus might qualify for Health Partners Minnesota Senior Health Options. The plan includes personal support, coverage for medical, prescription drugs, and dental, plus over 30 extra benefits. Eligibility information is available at healthpartners.com/oneplan. Health Partners is a health plan that contracts with both Medicare and the Minnesota Medical Assistance Medicaid program to provide benefits of both programs to enrollees. Enrollment in Health Partners depends on contract renewal.
Hi, this is Paul Metza inviting you to listen to the Wall of Power Radio Hour. We have been on the air on AM 950 for over 5 years, over 200 original shows in the can, including musicians, artists, promoters, authors, comedians, and more. We're on the air Saturdays at 6 p.m. If you'd like to advertise, get a hold of us at am950radio.com and stay tuned this weekend, Wall of Power Radio Hour.
The Senior Linkage Line is a free statewide service of the Minnesota Board on Aging, helping older Minnesotans and caregivers find answers and connect to services and supports. Questions about Medicare, transportation, looking to move to senior housing, overwhelmed with prescription drug plans? Call the Senior Linkage Line at 800-333-2433 or visit trellisconnects.org, where we help people optimize well-being as they age. That's trellisconnects.org.
There really is no place like home. Hi, I'm Mary T. of Mary T. Home Health. When you're faced with an illness or an injury, being able to stay at home and receive care is important. Our home health offers a wide range of services, including skilled nursing, physical, occupational, and speech therapies, aides, homemakers, in-home respite care, and 24/7 live-in care. We'll work closely with your primary care provider to come up with an individualized plan for you. Learn more today at marytinc.com.
All right, welcome back, folks. You are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well, where we talk about improving your health and quality of life. My name is Ken Hageland, and joining me today is Amy Horn, licensed acupuncturist and owner of Blue Branches Acupuncture in Bloomington, Minnesota. And we are talking about the power of acupuncture and how she incorporates that with Western medicine, if people would like that, and to help create the highest outcomes for her patients. And it's such an amazing time talking with her. I've got to get her back on the show here in the future, because I know we're getting calls and getting some text messages here about people with questions about this. And I would recommend that Amy will do a complimentary consultation with you so all you got to do is reach out to her via email on your website.
They can, or they can book it directly on the website.
Right. Yes, because you've got to book an appointment right there.
Yep.
And again, the initial consultation is free, no obligation. This is Amy's passion. This is her life's work. And she just wants to help share the benefits of acupuncture with people that, again, may be searching for another way to help address some of the things that they have going on in their body, in their life.
Yep.
And so again, I did it, and it was great. That's how I got to know Amy here. But we've only got a few minutes left in this segment and the show, and I want to make sure we continue to help people understand how it works. We've talked about what is acupuncture. We talked about how it works. Now let's talk about maybe some of the treatments and some of the symptoms that people may be experiencing that they'd like to maybe see if they could get help with through acupuncture and through maybe your practice.
Absolutely. So one thing I always tell patients is what are diagnoses in Western medicine are often symptoms in Chinese medicine. So high blood pressure, for instance, is a often seen one. And virtually everyone I know, I feel like, is on blood pressure medicine.
Isn't that one of the most common?
It's
prescribed
crazy,
drugs?
right?
Yeah.
But you're not on blood pressure medicine because you are deficient in that drug, right?
Right.
And so if we don't ever address the underlying issue, then you're never actually going to get better. But we have to believe, A, that it's possible to get better. And we've often been trained that it's not.
Right.
Once we get this diagnosis, that's it. But so that is a diagnosis in Western medicine. It's a symptom in Chinese medicine. And based on all the other symptoms, so maybe you have pain, maybe you have irritability, maybe you can't sleep, maybe you've got seasonal allergies, all of those are going to kind of come together into what is called a pattern in Chinese medicine. So if you have a diagnosis, we figure out where it fits in this bigger picture. If you don't have a diagnosis, we don't need one, because this is a medicine that predates germ theory and all of that, right?
Right.
So, so things like high blood pressure, things like PMS, menopause, insomnia is a really big one. I'm seeing some long COVID these days.
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, lots of sinus congestion, arthritis, pain of any kind.
Yeah.
Pain, we really do amazing job with pain. Sciatic pain, honestly, acupuncture does better than chiropractic in terms of moving that needle. Stress. I don't do a lot with addiction. So there are a couple things that really require a lot of patient participation. Addiction, quit smoking, and weight loss. Those are things that people really want, right?
Right.
But often they're looking to acupuncture to be this thing that kind of fixes it without them having to change.
Right.
And usually I say, you know what, it's going to cost you a lot of money and a lot of time. And until you're ready to change, don't waste either.
That's a good point. And that's a very good point. Until you're ready, and it almost doesn't matter what
Right.
your modality or what treatment you're doing. If you're not ready for it, I think you're right. It's just a waste of time and money.
Yeah. So neuropathy, diabetic pain, carpal tunnel, for those golfers,
Sure.
the golf elbows,
Right,
and
tennis
shoulders,
elbows, yeah.
a lot of that kind of stuff. Depression, huge, lots of anxiety, all of those sorts of things, whether it's manifesting physically or just kind of emotionally, either way. The body from a Chinese medicine standpoint, the body, the spirit, and the emotions are all wrapped up into one. We don't separate them. So it's an easy thing to fix. Not easy thing to fix per se, but it's not separate.
Right.
So you're not separate. You're not fragmented. You're not going to 14 doctors because you've got 14 different symptoms.
Well, and one of the things that I know your practice is it's a holistic approach. I mean,
Right.
you're right. We, in our society, we want the quick fix all the time. I mean, it's drive through now, and it's overnight now, and everything is just right now.
Yeah.
And I think I tell people it's taken you a lifetime to get to this point.
Exactly.
Wherever that is. Maybe you're a 3 out of 10 or you're an 8 out of 10, whatever. But you have to have perseverance and patience a little bit to give your body, so if you can, and so much of what we talked about the air a little bit was just how stress is what number one killer or disabler of people, not right now in our country and probably across the world, is stress. And I think we've lost the ability to know how to manage our stress,
right?
Because we're in it all the time. I mean, the water's boiling around us all the
Yep.
time. And so what's nice about your practice is you can, help the body take that break. They say disconnect the brain from the body a little bit and just let the body try to heal.
Yeah.
And sometimes it just needs that little bit of time, a little bit of healing to start getting back on track, because the body wants to heal.
The body will go to great lengths, every length it can. And the only way that the body can communicate to us is through symptoms.
Right. And I talked to another person who said, without pain or without problems, we would never know that we're harming ourselves or that our body's in distress.
Yep. Yeah. So it's the only form of communication it has. And it's our job to learn to listen.
Right.
And then give it what it needs. And that can look like a lot of different things in different phases of our life. It's going to look like different things. But to your point, we didn't get here overnight. We're not going to be cured overnight.
Right.
And sometimes we do need to we need to move the needle now, which is where the pharmaceuticals can be fabulous. But if we don't make those long-term changes, I just read a study not that long ago that said basically salt, high salt intake is often said for people with cardiac issues, no. But they're saying outcomes in the end don't matter.
They don't matter. That's right. Well, we've okay, the music is cueing us out. Amy, I just want another hour here with you to talk, but we'll have you back.
Yes.
But I want to thank Amy Horn, licensed acupuncturist and owner of Blue Branches Acupuncture in Bloomington, Minnesota, for here talking about the power of acupuncture. So thank you so much, Amy, for being here today.
My pleasure, Ken. Thank you for
All right.
having me.
And one last time, how can people get a hold of you?
Blue Branches, BLUEBRANCHES.com.
All right. We hope you enjoyed today's show, folks. Please contact us with any questions or comments you have regarding today's conversation. You can always reach us anytime by voice or text at 612-999-3426. Please join us again next Saturday at noon for another broadcast. And thank you for listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well, where we talk about your health and your life. Until next time, choose to live well.
This is the Being Curious Show. I'm Brian Mariani, founder of No Shift Own.
And I'm Kelly Wagner, publisher of Edge Magazine. Our show is about curiously connecting teachers and seekers on a wide range of topics in a safe space.
And our intention is that these conversations spark your own curiosity that creates a life that totally lights you up.
We are on AM 950, Sundays at 2 p.m. and all podcast platforms. See you soon and stay curious.
Hi, I'm Kelly Tanky.